Hello and welcome back to another Sunday, and another Sunday means another World Beyond review, so let's strap into the World Beyond Season 2 Episode 5 review. And this episode, I'm gonna give a little spoiler to my overall opinion right now. I would say I enjoyed this episode, okay? It was quite enjoyable. The reason why it was quite enjoyable is that I thought this episode would be quite bad, because the way it started off, I was like, okay, there's doing some action. And then it started off, and immediately Felix and Will were sidelined, and it focused on all the child actors and the teenagers. And I was like, okay, that's quite bad. And I was really annoyed. I was really turned off at that. I was like, okay, it's going to be a bad episode. But the plot is quite simple. It's just everyone is doing Will's idea, and they're all trying to get into the CRM and enact their plot. And good news, they actually do quite a lot of it in one episode. I thought they might drag it out quite a bit, but no. The episode, you go through quite a lot of the story. Like, for the past 4 episodes where they're kind of dragging their heels and going, okay, we're going to move only this far forwards, only this far forwards, only this far forwards. And that could have been maybe, those past 4 episodes could have been maybe 2 episodes. This episode was like, bam, we're going to go through like as much as possible to make up for the previous 4 episodes having no story. And I'm so happy. And you think you might feel a bit rushed going through so much in a way, because they break into the CRM, they tell everyone the plan, they get ready, they make a plan to escape the CRM, and it's all going down. And you're like, okay, does it feel rushed? No, the pacing is great. It just goes through like a good pacing. You're like, this makes sense. It all just, there's actual something, and I was actually like drawn into the story for once. The best thing about this episode and the story is that it doesn't focus too much on the kids like I thought it would be. Right at the start, there is a lot of like focusing on Silas, Elton, Percy and Iris, those 4 characters there. But I thought maybe the halfway mark, or maybe like the past 15 minutes, like the first 10 to 15 minutes is mostly them. But after them, it goes straight into the CRM, and we learn about a lot about the CRM. We learn so much more than we learnt before, and it's very like CRM heavy, which I really like when episodes are very CRM heavy. We get a lot of like Huck in the CRM snooping around because she doesn't believe her mum anymore. We get some more Elizabeth, and it does seem like Elizabeth's kind of leaving the show a little, becoming less of a role, which sucks a little, but we are getting a replacement, which is amazing. I really like Elizabeth in this episode. She's barely in it, but when she is great. There is a scene about halfway, and Elizabeth is suspecting Huck of like doubting her and trying to backstab her. And I really like the way Elizabeth's like, oh yeah, and it's so good. Like, Elizabeth just gives off this, I know what you're doing vibe. She gives off the judgmental mother really well, and I really liked it. Then on the other side is Elton, and I feel like Elton kind of had nothing to do this episode, and I feel like he's had nothing to do this entire season, to be honest. We're halfway through now, and Elton's done nothing. I feel like they don't know what to do with Elton. Elton's the only character other than Will that didn't go into the CRM, and he kind of does nothing, and it always keeps like slightly ruining the pace a little. Is when you're at the CRM, you're having all the characters doing things. Even Xylos is slightly interesting because he's involved in the CRM. Goes back to Elton, and Elton's just kind of chilling, doing nothing, okay? Even Will didn't come back after he did his plot. He's like, okay, I'm going to come up with the plan. And you don't see Will for the rest of the episode, which makes sense. I don't know why I had to go back and see Elton again, even though he didn't add anything. He was quite boring. So, besides the bad start and the Elton subplot, this episode has really good build-up. I feel like this episode is just one of the best build-ups. It's the best episode, in my opinion, so far of Season 5. I do feel like this episode should have happened earlier on in the season, because it builds up the rest of the season, and being halfway through the season and having the episode that actually sets off the season halfway through is a really stupid idea. This should have been maybe episode 2 or 3, to be honest. But other than that, it's a great episode. It builds up, it builds up, it builds up. It has a great payoff. I do give one thing to World Beyond. They have good endings, because I feel like each ending from episode maybe 2 onwards is getting better and better and better, and has been good. The best part of each like episode is the ending, because they have good like cliffhangers, and this was actually a good cliffhanger. Like, I'm not gonna say what happens to the cliffhanger, but it's a good cliffhanger. But there is a post-credit scene, and the post-credit scene is easily one of the best parts of this episode. We get the return of Jadis, and it is great. I'm so happy we have her this early on, and she's kind of being the replacement to Elizabeth, which is going to be great because we're going to get so much more Rick stuff with her in the show. And I feel like Elizabeth's going off to be a part of the movie, so they can't kill her off. Have Jadis here to be maybe the villain for the last half of the season, so she could die off here. It makes a lot of sense. Now let's move on to our one sentence / one word overview, and I would say this episode's good. This is the best episode so far. The pacing's great, it's got a really interesting story, and it's quite fun. There's very little stupid characters in here, like Percy was a bit stupid at times. I didn't agree with Percy and the stupid Percy and Iris like love thing. No, didn't feel it. It's just stupidly acted. Stupid plots sometimes, but overall the overall plot's great, the ending's great, there's amazing build up, it's a fun episode to watch, and I do recommend you watch if you are watching World Beyond because it has The Walking Dead in its title. If you are one of those people like me and you are watching this and you skipped a couple of these episodes, I recommend you do watch this one because it sets up everything else. It's an important episode, you cannot miss this, and you have to watch it if you are going to watch the rest. But what do you think about this episode? Please tell me down below, and if you want more videos, look on the screen, there should be more reviews there. I guarantee you'll find something else you like. But it's it for me for now. Goodbye, peace out, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.